Who should Dave Rennie pick for the second test of Rugby's Greatest Rivalry series against my Springboks team? Now, it's always very difficult making a team that I think can beat my team that I support, but it's been very interesting, been very fun now covering the All Blacks, seeing how the team's kind of developed over the last few weeks, last few months as well. Some of these players have gone from maybe they won't even be part of the squad to now being really key parts of the squad, key parts of the leadership group, and some of these guys put up some incredibly good performances over the last few weeks. Now, last night was the Lions game, All Blacks versus Lions, a very close game, maybe too close for comfort for some of you All Blacks fans that watch the channel, but I think there were some good performances there, and I think a few players did definitely put their hand up to Dave Rennie to say, look, you have to pick me now. I can do a lot of good things if you do value me and do put me in the team. Of course, there are a few injuries as well. The Ethan de Groot's out. I think Josh Lord is out as well, so that will impact the selection for this game. But before we do get into it, if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. It really goes such a long way. Liking these videos boosts it so much, and the support has been absolutely incredible from every single one of you that watch the videos. Like, I do appreciate the support so much. I'm trying to get better at this every single day, every single time I do a video. All the constructive feedback, I'm taking all of that, I'm making notes, I'm trying to get better, so I really do appreciate all the support. Of course, if you do comment on the channel, I promise you I will try my absolute best to respond to all the comments. Sometimes some of them get lost, but I do see you, and I really appreciate all the comments. I really do. I enjoy all the conversations with all of you down below in the comments. I really do, and it actually has increased my rugby knowledge as well, so thank you so much for that, especially the All Blacks fans that watch the channel. You guys have been absolutely brilliant, so I really do appreciate you. But let's get right into it. Who should Dave Rennie pick versus the Springboks in the second test of Rugby's Greatest Rivalry series? Now, this is who I think he will pick, and this is also who I think he should pick. So it's a bit of both. A team that I think he probably will pick, and also a few guys that I think have just earned a spot that are almost no-brainers to pick for this game. But starting off with the front row, we've got number 1, George Bower for me, number 2, Caoe Taylor, and number 3, Tyrell Lomax. Now, I think a lot of people after last week would have thought the way the scrum went in the first half, you have to change up the front, or you have to change up that whole system there to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll be honest, even as a Springbok fan, this might sound not cocky, but the truth, I actually believe no matter what decisions they make here, what players they put there, I think it still will be very tough to scrum against the Springboks in the first half with the guys they have. Vilkulo and Oxenchair are just two of the best scrummagers in world rugby. They built like absolute tractors. They're massive human beings, powerful. They are literally built to scrum. If they were put on this earth to do one thing, it's to scrum. So I think trying to out-scrum those guys, if you do it, really well done. But I think the players I've chosen here are the best players that can start a game and get to the 50th minute of the game and lay a foundation for the guys coming off the bench. Of course, you do have Asaf Vermoer, you do have Xavier Numia and those guys as well, but I think those guys can really come off of the bench and make a massive impact from the bench later on in the game, where I think they would be more valuable. Also, I'm not really the biggest fan of, if there's a good bench squad working well as a unit, I'm not the biggest fan of kind of putting those guys right into the starting lineup just because they had a good game. In fact, I like keeping the starting lineup the same sometimes and just keeping the bench as is, especially if that bench unit is working well. I spoke about this in the Nations Championship as well. The bench unit for the All Blacks is being used a lot more right now, and as a unit, the bench for the All Blacks is getting so much better as a little squad by itself. Remember, you have the starting 15, then you have the 8 guys on the bench, and Dave Rennie really trusts his 8 guys on the bench, and those guys are like a little team, half a team by themselves. They train together, they train against the starters together, they know how to come onto the field and make a good impact together. So don't try to change too much of that. But for me, George Bower, really good performance in the second half against the Springboks. That one scrum, I think it was in the 50-something minute, really good from him. I think he's been really solid. Even the people in the comments down below in my video has been saying he's really impressed them. And for me, he's a guy I didn't know too much about. Probably thought he was a bit of a boring player, but he is one of those guys that is definitely a good starter for this team. So I think he might get the number 1 jersey. Caoe Taylor, we know what he can do. A few bad lineouts, but still, other than that, good in all the other set pieces except for scrum time. Good around the field as well. A leader, obviously leads the haka as well. Caoe Taylor's got to be number 2 in my opinion. And then number 3, Tyrell Lomax, solid player, decent at scrum time, but also a workhorse around the park. One of those guys that just gets the unseen hard work done very well. You might not see him in the game, but you'll see him all over the stat sheet. So very important guys to have in this All Blacks team. Moving on to the locks now. Of course, Josh Lord is injured, so I thought to myself, who would they be playing? And I looked at the game yesterday, and who did they take off early? Patrick Tuipulotu. But that being said, I don't think Patrick Tuipulotu is going to start. For me, it's going to be number 4, Fabian Holland, and number 5, Tupou Vai. Of course, I think the All Blacks have so many world-class loose forwards that they can almost sacrifice putting Tupou Vai in the locks. And I think sacrifice is the wrong word. Just moving him to the locks might even add more mobility, more explosiveness to the forward pack as well. Of course, I do like the selection of Tupou Vai at number 6, but with the amount of loose forwards that the All Blacks have right now, moving a guy that plays lock normally back to his normal position won't hurt the team at all. In fact, I think Fabian Holland and Tupou Vai as a lock combination will be really good, ruthless at line-out time, very good in the contact zone, and of course, Tupou Vai is a very good ball carrier, and Fabian Holland's like a classic Rua Nortje type of player, gets stuck in, gets the hard work done, very physical as well. Fabian Holland is slowly but surely becoming one of my favorite players in this All Blacks team as well. He is a brilliant player, and he is an absolute mountain as well. For me, it's really interesting seeing these younger guys from the All Blacks coming through and playing with so much confidence. Fabian Holland looks like a 50-cap player. He looks like he should have been there a long time ago. He looks like one of the leaders in the team, and same can be said for Tupou Vai as well. So that would be my number 4 and 5. Now, moving on to the loose forwards, the back three in the forward pack. This is where it gets very interesting in my opinion, because I thought some guys in that Lions game really did put up their hands. And I think for this game in Cape Town, what the All Blacks can be expecting is an absolute revenge game from the Springboks. I'm not talking about the scoreboard. I'm talking about how they're playing. The Springboks want to get revenge on the All Blacks. The Springboks want to bounce back. And what better way to kind of counteract that than by putting your own crazy player in the team that doesn't care about his body, throws himself around, physical beast, gets the unseen hard work done extremely well. He just doesn't seem to care about his body. For me, number 6, it's got to be Ethan Blackadder. The amount of times I heard his name last night against the Lions, and you know what, yes, you can say it's against the Lions, but that Lions team really did pitch up, and all these guys can do in these games is play to the best of their ability. For me, Ethan Blackadder has to be in the number 6 jersey, especially if Tupou Vai is not playing there. Of course, you can put a guy like Peter Lakai there, there's other guys as well, Simon Parker, but I think for this team right now, Ethan Blackadder has to be the guy. And I think a lot of people will probably think, but how can he play on Tuesday, then Saturday? Realistically, most of the guys that were probably not playing on Tuesday probably had a very physical, hard, almost near match experience on the Tuesday as well. A lot of these guys train very hard on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, so it's not going to be too bad for him to recover in that time. In fact, he might be a bit more battle hard and ready to go on Saturday. So for me, it's got to be number 6, Ethan Blackadder. He was absolutely brilliant. He is such a good player for the All Blacks, really going higher up the rankings in my opinion. Hopefully Dave Rennie sees it the same. Number 7 and number 8, you've got to stick with Luke Jacobson and you've got to stick with Ardie Savea. I mean, just look at that forward pack. What a forward pack. The way this All Blacks team over the last few years have gone from forward pack's not really that scary, they're okay in my opinion, to now this All Blacks forward pack is full of dogs, is the right way to say it. Dogs meaning they're like a pack of wolves almost. They just don't care about their bodies. They throw themselves around. What a forward pack, full of very hard workers as well. I think that's the number one thing about this forward pack. They have so much skill, but with regards to the fundamentals and the basics of rugby, they do it very well. They're very accurate at the breakdown. They're very physical, and against the Springboks, you have to be very physical as well. So for me, number 7, Luke Jacobson, he's going to have a big game, slowing down the opposition ball once again. I actually thought Luke Jacobson got the better of Malcolm Marx at the breakdown last week. Also, on attack, Luke Jacobson, if I was a number 9, I would want Luke Jacobson to be my number 7, because the way he cleans at the breakdown, he gave Cam Roigard such good ball to play with. So Luke Jacobson has to be number 7, and of course number 8, it will be the captain, it will be Ardie Savea. What a captain shift last week, and I think he had a very good game with regards to how he played, his skill set, his physicality, the things he did around the park. But I think as a captain, he completely out-captained my team's captain, Pieter-Steph du Toit. I think it is now confirmed Siya Kolisi is back and is captain for the Springboks this week, which I think is a massive boost, because Ardie Savea, the way he managed to speak to the ref, the way the other players from the All Blacks team didn't approach the ref, didn't kind of give any comments to the ref, the All Blacks managed the ref extremely well. And I'm not saying the ref gave them any decisions. In fact, I thought the ref was really good last week. It was a very fair game of rugby, which I absolutely love about the game last week, that the Springboks lost fair and square. That's all I can say about that. But Ardie Savia as a captain did very well to how he approached the ref, how he talked to the ref, and those things actually do go a long way. Pieter-Steph du Toit is one of the best players in rugby history, but as a captain on the weekend, it just wasn't his best game as a captain, and I thought the way he approached the ref, you can see Pieter-Steph's a bit of a shy guy as well. You can't really be too much of a shy guy and a bit too scared to talk to the ref if you're the captain. So for me, Ardie Savia, a great captain's performance, has to be number 8. Moving on to the backline, number 9 and number 10, it's got to be Cam Roigard and it's got to be Ruben Love. Of course, Richie Mo'unga is back. Potentially he could be somewhere in the 23, potentially he could play at Soccer City, potentially he could be the fly-off to play in Baltimore, because there's a lot of games left in the series. But in my opinion, those two guys, the halfback pairing from the Hurricanes, what do they say in New Zealand? The first 5'8", Ruben Love and of course Cam Roigard, they have to be the number 9 and 10. Cam Roigard currently is the best scrum half in the world. I saw another list that put him at number 3. I'm thinking to myself, how crazy can you be to put him at number 3? He is number 1 right now. And Ruben Love, a guy that I actually thought, I'll be honest about this, I have to be honest about this as a Springbok fan, I thought Ruben Love was a bit overrated before watching him at Super Rugby this year, but that Super Rugby final and from then looking forward, he's such a good player, and you know what? He just gets on with his job. Very good at kicking for the poles as well. Very accurate off the tee, and the All Blacks needed a guy like him. A solid boot, a solid player, but also can take on the opposition with his footwork and with his skill set sometimes as well. I said at the beginning of the tour, maybe Ruben Love is a bit nervous playing for the black jersey and in the black jersey, but now I think like he's starting to play a lot better in the black jersey, because for these guys playing in the green and gold and the black jersey, it's not about who they play against that makes them nervous. It's about who they play for that makes them nervous. I think Ruben Love is getting a lot more settled in the number 10 All Blacks jersey, so that's very good to see. I mean, they've got so much cohesion there from the Hurricanes, and talking about cohesion, there still is Jordie Barrett at number 12 and of course Quinn Tupaia at number 13. They are one up on Dale Lindy and Kriel. Can they get it? Can they do it again this week? I think if they do manage to get the better of Dale Lindy and Kriel, then it might just be 2-0 to the All Blacks in this series. Dale Lindy and Kriel have a massive task ahead of them this week to try and get the better of Jordie Barrett and Quinn Tupaia. But Jordie Barrett, he's such a good player. He does miracles every single week with how he does try-saving tackles and the things he does. I still try to wrap my head around how he does certain things, but he is such a brilliant player. And Quinn Tupaia, player of Super Rugby, the men's player, Super Rugby player of the year, whatever you call it. What a season he's having. And he just reminds me of, what kind of player does he remind me of? I actually don't know what kind of player he reminds me of. He just reminds me of Quinn Tupaia, but he plays such solid rugby. You know what? This Jordie Barrett, Quinn Tupaia centre pair is giving me that kind of John de Villiers, Jacques Fourie-esque kind of the style that they play. Good at attack, good on defense as well. Just get on with the job, but they have so much X factor as well, but they do the basics extremely well. So for me, Jordie Barrett at number 12, looking like the best number 12 in the world right now. He's looking absolutely incredible. And Quinn Tupaia, I mean, that guy's just brilliant, isn't he? Looking at the back three, I'm going for Josh Morby, Will Jordan, and Damien McKenzie. So for the back line, I've kept it completely the exact same in the starting lineup. It does change on the bench though, but I think you have to keep those guys. They were very, very dangerous on turnover ball. Every time they sniffed an opportunity, their eyes went wide and they took the opportunity with both hands. This back line right now is a problem for the rest of World Rugby, because you've got Cam Roigard, one of the best scrum halves in the world. Ruben Love, who's getting better every single week. Jordie Barrett, such a quality player, almost like an extra loose forward. The same can be said for Quinn Tupaia as well. A loose forward with pace and playmaking ability. Will Jordan, one of the best try scorers in the world. In fact, probably the best try scorer in the world right now. Damien McKenzie, the pocket rocket. This guy can break through any team he wants on any given day. He runs 30 meters to the side to run 100 meters forward. He is absolutely insane. And I think number 11's got to be Josh Morby, because he offers so much to this team just with his footwork, just with his game-breaking ability. Of course, it wasn't his best game, but he still did score a try, did miss a tackle, but he's still early on in his career. He's got so much potential that you have to play a guy like him there. He has earned that number 11 jersey. So I think if he loses the jersey, he has to play himself out of the jersey. But for me, he's still very much the guy for the number 11 jersey for the All Blacks. But now, that is my starting lineup. But now moving on to the bench, arguably more important than the starting lineup, because it's all great wanting to get the starting position, but I think if you actually are chosen for the bench, you're chosen to finish the game. You're chosen to be one of the guys that actually go and win the game. The starters put you in a position to win the game, kind of give you a good base. If you're playing from the bench, you have to put yourself in a position to go and win the game. So for me, the bench front row's got to be Asafo Amua, Xavier Numia, and Fletcher Neal. Now, I think that those guys, none of those guys have an injury right now, but that has to be the front row of the bench. Of course, there were a few guys that played well last night against the Lions, and Xavier Numia was one of those guys. Xavier Numia and Asafo Amua could be two of the most explosive, mobile, electric front rowers in World Rugby right now. Irrespective of set piece, just around the park as well. Asafo Amua, I've spoken about him for months now. One of my favorite players in World Rugby. Has the potential to be the best hooker in the world. No doubt about it. In fact, has the potential to be a World Player of the Year one day. But his partner in crime, Xavier Numia, had a complete breakthrough season this year for the Hurricanes. I watched him in the final. One of the best sidestepping, playmaking, explosive props I've ever seen in my life. And the crazy part is, he can scrum as well. So I think those guys have to come together from the bench, and Fletcher Neal just adds that kind of composed head on his shoulders, adds that experience as well. You can have two guys that are complete game breakers, very good skill set, can do the hard graft as well. But then you have a guy like Fletcher Neal that can just get the unseen hard work done, get stuck in and just get some tackles, hit some rucks, and just be a very good team player as well. As much as you have star players, you have to have, like they call in basketball as well, you have to have role players. You have to have guys like a Fletcher Neal and a Tyrell Lomax that play their role to absolute perfection. And I think they will do that again this weekend. Looking at number 19 and number 20, I think it's going to be a 5-3 split because the All Blacks like to play that way. The All Blacks don't really like to counter what other people are doing, which I do respect a lot. They like to impose their own style of play, their own philosophies into the game. So for me, number 19, based on who came off earlier in the Lions game, I think number 19 is going to be Patrick Tuipulotu, and I don't think anybody can be mad about that. I think right now, Josh Lord is injured. It's either going to be Sam Darry or Patrick Tuipulotu. Let's be realistic about that. If they go with neither of them, I'll be very shocked, but I think maybe Sam Darry or Patrick Tuipulotu, either one of them could potentially start as well. But I think for this team, the guys I've chosen in the starting forward pack, those guys are key. They are the best players there right now that can make the best impact and maybe get an early lead as well. But Patrick Tuipulotu, he's got a calm head on his shoulders. He is a leader. He can captain this team if he does come on as well. If Ardie Savea was to go off, I think a guy like Patrick Tuipulotu could take over the captaincy. Good at line-out time, physical as well. He's been really good this year in my opinion. So it's got to be Patrick Tuipulotu at number 19, I think, because he came off just after halftime against the Lions. But I mean, a guy like Sam Darry as well, very good player. And what's the other guy? Hannah. I think it's his name's Hannah. Also had a pretty good showing against the Lions as well. But I think it will be Patrick Tuipulotu. And number 20 for me, of course, is going to be between Simon Parker, it's going to be between Wallace Atiti, and it's going to be between Peter Lakai. But I think it's going to be Peter Lakai. He has that composed head on his shoulder. He almost plays rugby like he's got 50 plus caps. He's a really solid player in this All Blacks team, and I actually think he's getting not disrespected, but he's being looked over quite a lot by a lot of the different fans from all the different fan bases, because he's a very good player. He's very skillful. He can be a game breaker with his pace and athletic ability as well. But I just think he's the perfect guy to bring off the bench. I mean, Asafo Amua, Xavier Numia, and Peter Lakai, all Hurricanes players, thinking about those guys coming onto the field with Ardie Savea, they all know how to play together. They've all played together before. That's like a little unit within a unit. So having Asafo Amua, Xavier Numia, and potentially a Peter Lakai in the same pod, those guys have been in the same pod together for the Hurricanes. They know each other's tendencies, they know each other's skill sets, their strengths, their weaknesses. Playing guys like that know how to play together from the bench just adds so much value when they do come onto the field, because it's almost like that unwritten thing, or they don't even have to speak about what they're saying. Everybody just knows what they're going to do by the way they're doing something, by the way they react to something, by the way their body's moving. For instance, a guy like Xavier Numia and Asafo Amua, say now Asafo Amua gets the ball, they don't even need to tell each other what's happening. They know exactly what the other guy's tendencies are. They basically, I'm pretty sure they know 90% of the time what they're going to do, so they know how to react to that. Because a lot of the times you see guys do things and it surprises the teammates around them on the field, especially in the forward pack, and that's when you get turnover balls. That's when you get that disconnect between the forwards and the backs as well. So what I'm seeing right now, I really do like, considering as well Cam Roigard and Ruben Love and Geordie Barrett all play for the Hurricanes as well. Having guys like Amua, Numia, and Lakai come on from the bench, they know how to play together. It's going to be a seamless fit when they come onto the field. And talking about seamless fits, I think it has to be Cortez Ratama in the number 21 jersey this week. I think He's a really good player in my opinion. He's actually a really solid player. Maybe gets a bit disrespected because he's not as good as some of the other guys. I don't think he's as good as Cam Roygaard, but I think this week it's going to be heavy underfoot in Cape Town. It might be different conditions. It might be wet as well. I think this game specifically, I think Cortez Ratimer, in my opinion, will probably be the better player to play than Kyle Preston, specifically for this game. I think the Springboks will be a lot more connected, a lot less disjointed as well. And to bring a scrum off on, I'm pretty sure Cortez Ratimer, whoever plays off the bench as scrum off, probably won't even come on if you think about it, because Cam Roygaard is near an 80-minute player. But I think if they were to bring a guy on, a guy like Cortez Ratimer with a very solid box kick, could likes to control the game, he could be a good guy to bring on, especially if they are leading at the end, or if they just need a composed, calm head on their shoulders to come on and just delegate things if a guy like Cam Roygaard does go off. Of course, I think if Cam Roygaard is playing, I think he'll play near the 80 minutes, if not the entire 80. But talking about the last two guys on the bench for the backline, this is where it gets a bit different, because you've got guys like Rico Ioane, you've got guys like Anton Leonard-Brown, you've got guys like Richie Mwanga, you've got Leroy Carter, you've got Imoni Narawa, you've got Tamosi Tavatanawai, you've got Bowden Barrett, you've got so many good players in this team right now. But in my opinion, number 22, the way he's been playing recently, has to be Rico Ioane. It has to be Rico Ioane. I mean, this whole tour has reignited, reinvigorated his All Blacks career. He's playing some incredible rugby. He's playing some of the best rugby I've ever seen him play. Yes, he made a few mistakes in the Lions game, but I think you have to look at the positives. The positives are his fundamentals right now are better than most of the guys in all of the teams at World Rugby right now. He still has that blistering pace. He still can break a game wide open. And I think right now, what he can offer you if there is an injury, he can play wing extremely well, and he can play 13 extremely well, and he knows how to play with the guys around him. I think between a guy like Anton Leonard-Brown and Rico Ioane, you've got to go for a guy like Rico Ioane right now, just with the way he's playing. But Anton Leonard-Brown, if he does play there, is a very good choice as well. Of course, I don't know the team. I will be reacting to the team when it comes out as well. Number 23 for me, it's got to be Leroy Carter. Of course, I thought maybe Tamosi Tavatanawai could be there. I thought Imoni Narawa could be there as well. But I think just for this game, Leroy Carter still hasn't played himself out the team. I think Leroy Carter, I think we're forgetting he's had some really good games on this tour so far. He's physical, he's a game breaker, he's got good footwork, he's a good playmaker as well. I think maybe at Soccer City the next week in Johannesburg, we might see Imoni Narawa maybe even get a start. We might see Tamosi Tavatanawai playing the number 22 jersey. I think in the next game we'll see some changes, but I think for this game, a guy like Leroy Carter is the perfect guy to still play in the number 23 jersey, add some physicality as well, doesn't make many mistakes, and probably a good guy to play if there is an injury early on as well. But of course, if you do play Rico Ioane, is it necessary to play Leroy Carter? That's just what I'm thinking right now. There's a lot of options there on the bench. Maybe with Rico Ioane, you could play Tamosi Tavatanawai or a guy like Imoni Narawa. There's so many good options for the All Blacks on the bench. Of course, if they really wanted to, they could put Richie Mwanga there as well. But I think Damon McKenzie does cover fullback, fly off as well. But that's my team that I think Dave Rennie is going to pick. Let me know down below in the comments if you think this is a good team, if you think this is a bad team. Let me know why. Let's talk about it. Of course, I don't think I'm going to get this 100% right, but I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I'll go over the team one more time. Number 1, George Bauer. Number 2, Cody Taylor. Number 3, Taro Lomax. Number 4, number 5, Fabian Holland and Tupou Vai. Number 6, Ethan Blackadder. Number 7, Luke Jacobson. Number 8, Ardy Salvia. 9 and 10 is Roygaard and Ruben Love. Number 11, Josh Morby. 12 and 13, Geordie Barrett and Quinn Tupaia, of course. 14, Will Jordan, a machine try scorer. Number 15, Damon McKenzie, playing some of the best rugby of his career right now. Number 16, Asafo Amua. Number 17, his partner in crime from the Hurricanes, Xavier Numia. 18, composed head on his shoulder and physical, Fletcher Newell. 19, can come on and lead the team, Patrick Tuipulotu. 20, such an underrated player, Peter Lakai. 21, Cortez Ratimer. Still 50-50 about that one, because Kyle Preston really came onto the Lions game and had some very quick service as well. 22, Rico Ioane, but can be into Anton Leonard-Brown. And 23, Leroy Carter, but can be Tamosi Tavatanawai, and of course Imoni Narawa as well. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate all the support. If you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.